The unexpected proposal. The restaurant was the kind of place where Maya couldn't afford the appetizers, let alone a full meal. But her best friend's wedding reception was being held in the adjoining ballroom, and she'd slipped away from the chaos to catch her breath in the elegant dining room, nursing a single glass of water she'd ordered just to sit down. At 28, Maya was used to being alone at weddings, used to the pitying glances when the bouquet sailed over her head, used to explaining that no, she wasn't seeing anyone, and yes, she was fine with it. Mostly fine, anyway. She was scrolling through her phone, trying to look occupied, when the woman appeared beside her table. Late 60s, impeccably dressed in cream silk, with silver hair swept into an elegant chignon, the kind of woman who commanded attention simply by existing. She leaned down, close enough that Maya caught the scent of expensive perfume, and whispered urgently, "Please, I need you to pretend you're my son's fiancée, just for 1 hour." Maya blinked. "I'm sorry, what?" The woman glanced over her shoulder toward the restaurant entrance, where a tall man in an expensive suit was being led to a table by the hostess. Even from this distance, Maya could see the sharp cut of his jaw, the confident way he moved. "That's my son, Richard. He's the CEO of Hartwell Technologies." The woman's voice dropped lower, more desperate. "His father and I are dining with him and his actual girlfriend, Vanessa. She's awful, manipulative, a gold digger who's only interested in his money. But he's blind to it, and tonight he's planning to propose to her." Maya stared. "And you want me to cause a scene? Claim he proposed to you first. Give him a reason to pause, to think, before he makes the biggest mistake of his life." The woman's eyes were pleading. "I'll pay you. $5,000 cash right now." Maya should have said no. Should have laughed, made excuses, returned to the wedding. But $5,000 would cover 3 months of rent, would let her stop choosing between electricity and groceries, and something in the woman's desperation touched her. "I don't want your money," Maya heard herself say, "but I'll help you." The woman's face transformed with relief. "Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm Catherine Hartwell, by the way. Maya Torres." Perfect. Catherine was already pulling her toward the table where Richard sat. "Just follow my lead." The next 5 minutes passed in a blur. Catherine's performance was masterful. The shocked exclamation, the demand to know why. Richard was having dinner with another woman when he'd proposed to Maya just last month. Richard's confusion. The girlfriend, Vanessa's outrage. Maya found herself thrust into the drama, improvising wildly. "I have the ring," she stammered, pulling off the simple silver band her grandmother had left her. "You said you loved me." "You said—" "Mother, I have never seen this woman before in my life," Richard said, his voice steady but his eyes confused as they met Maya's. There was something there, curiosity, maybe even a flicker of amusement, but mostly bewilderment. "Don't lie to protect that woman." Catherine pointed at Vanessa, whose perfectly made-up face had gone red with fury. "I raised you better than this." The argument escalated. Other diners were staring. The manager appeared, and in the chaos, Maya caught something that made her freeze. Vanessa had pulled out her phone. On the screen was a message thread, visible for just a second, but long enough for Maya to read. "Keep him busy. Transfer completes at midnight. Then we're done with this charade." The pieces clicked together with sickening clarity. This wasn't about love or gold digging in the traditional sense. This was something worse. Maya grabbed Richard's arm, pulling him aside. "Listen to me. Check your company accounts. Right now, I think someone's stealing from you." "What are you talking about?" "Who are you?" "I'm nobody. Your mother asked me to pretend to be your fiancé because she thinks your girlfriend is bad news. But I just saw a message on Vanessa's phone, something about a transfer completing at midnight." Richard's expression shifted from confusion to sharp attention. He pulled out his phone, fingers flying across the screen. The color drained from his face. "How did you—" He strode back to the table, his voice cutting through the noise like a blade. "Vanessa, what's your brother's name again?" She blinked, thrown by the sudden change of subject. "Trevor, why?" "Trevor Marsh. Your brother, who I graciously hired as my CFO 6 months ago, despite my accountant's reservations." Richard's voice was deadly calm. "The same Trevor Marsh, who's currently attempting to transfer $8 million from Hartwell Technologies to an offshore account. The transfer that's set to complete in 4 hours. The silence that fell over the table was absolute. Vanessa's face went white, then red. I don't know what you're talking about. Security footage will show you accessing my home office last week. The same week my financial passwords were compromised. Richard was already dialing. Don't move. The police will want to talk to you. What happened next moved quickly. Police arrived. Vanessa tried to run but didn't make it past the lobby. Catherine collapsed into a chair, shaking. And Maya found herself standing awkwardly by the bar, wondering if she could slip away unnoticed. Wait. Richard's hand on her shoulder was gentle. Up close, she could see the tiredness around his eyes, the strain of betrayal settling into his features. Thank you, he said simply. You just saved my company. Probably saved me from a disastrous marriage, too. I don't even know your name. Maya Torres, and I really didn't do anything. Wrong place, right time. You didn't have to help my mother. You definitely didn't have to warn me. He paused. She tried to pay you, didn't she? Maya nodded. I didn't take it. Why not? She considered the question. Because your mom looked like my mom did when my brother was dating someone terrible. That kind of worry, it's real. It comes from love. I couldn't take money for that. Richard studied her for a long moment. What do you do, Maya Torres? I'm a graphic designer. Freelance mostly. I was here for a friend's wedding reception in the ballroom. You should get back to it then. But he was pulling out a business card, writing something on the back. This is my personal number. Call me Monday. Hartwell Technologies is launching a major rebrand next quarter. And our design firm let's say we're looking for someone new, someone with integrity. Maya took the card, feeling surreal. You're offering me a job? I'm offering you a conversation. What happens after that is up to you. Catherine appeared then, hugging Maya so tightly she could barely breathe. You wonderful girl. You saved him. Both of you saved him. I'm sorry my method was so dramatic, Catherine said, pulling back with tears in her eyes. I knew Vanessa was wrong for him, but I couldn't prove it. I just needed to disrupt things, make him look at her differently. I never imagined. It worked out, Richard said dryly. Unorthodox but effective. Maya stayed for another hour, giving a statement to the police, accepting Catherine's tearful thanks, and enduring Richard's mother's insistence that she must come to Sunday dinner. When she finally returned to the wedding reception, she felt like she'd lived a week in a single evening. Her friend Emma grabbed her immediately. Where have you been? You missed the cake. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. But she did tell her. Later, over leftover wedding cake and cheap wine in Emma's hotel room, she told the whole impossible story. Emma listened with growing amazement. So you might have a job with a tech CEO. His mother wants to adopt you. And all because you agreed to fake an engagement? I helped expose a multi-million-dollar theft, Maya corrected. The fake engagement was just the opener. She didn't expect anything to come from Richard's business card. People said things in the moment, especially when emotions ran high. But Monday morning, she called the number anyway. He answered on the second ring. 3 months later, Maya was the lead designer on Hartwell Technologies' rebrand, working with a team she'd built herself. 6 months later, she was the company's creative director, and somewhere in between meetings and deadlines and late nights perfecting presentations, she and Richard became friends. Real friends. The kind who texted each other terrible memes at midnight and argued about whether pineapple belonged on pizza and trusted each other with the truth. I never thanked you properly, Richard said one evening. They were in his office reviewing finals for the rebrand launch. Rain streaked the windows of his downtown high-rise, city lights blurring like watercolors. You gave me a career. I think we're even. That's not what I meant. He set down his coffee, meeting her eyes. Vanessa wasn't the first person to try to use me. Probably won't be the last. You knew nothing about me. Had no reason to help and every reason to walk away. But you didn't. That matters. Maya felt heat creep into her cheeks. Your mother was desperate. I know what that looks like. Most people still would have walked away. He paused. I'm glad you didn't. Me too. The rebrand launched to rave reviews. Catherine became a regular fixture in Maya's life, insisting on monthly lunches and treating her like the daughter she'd never had. And slowly, carefully, Maya and Richard discovered that the fake engagement his mother had orchestrated might not have been so fake after all, not in the ways that mattered. A year to the day after that chaotic dinner. Richard took Maya back to the same restaurant. They sat at the same table where Catherine had first whispered her desperate plan. "I have something to ask you," Richard said, and Maya's heart began to race. "If this is about the quarterly reports, it's not about work." He pulled out a small velvet box. "My mother once paid a stranger to pretend to be my fiancée. Turns out she was more right than she knew. Maya Torres, will you make it real?" Maya looked at the ring. Nothing like Vanessa's ostentatious diamond, but a simple band with a single emerald, her grandmother's birthstone, and felt tears prick her eyes. "That depends," she managed. "Is your mother behind this too?" Richard laughed. "Actually, she claims she orchestrated this entire thing from the beginning. Says she knew the moment she saw you that you were perfect for me. That's ridiculous. She was desperate and I was convenient." "Maybe." He was still holding the ring, hope and nervousness warring in his expression. "Or maybe some acts of kindness are meant to change everything. Maybe you walked into my life exactly when you were supposed to. What do you think?" Maya thought about that night. About how close she'd come to saying no. About all the ways life could have gone differently. If she'd chosen comfort over compassion. If she'd walked away instead of stepping in. "I think," she said slowly, "that your mother has excellent instincts. And yes, I'll marry you." When they called Catherine with the news, her shriek of joy could probably be heard in 3 states. "I knew it," she crowed. "I told you both. From the very first moment, you thought she was a stranger you were paying to cause a scene," Richard reminded her. "Details," Catherine sniffed. "The heart knows what it knows." Later, wrapped in Richard's arms as rain continued to fall against the windows, Maya reflected on the strange journey that had brought them here. A desperate mother's plea, a fake engagement that exposed real betrayal, a moment of kindness that had transformed into so much more. "What are you thinking about?" Richard murmured against her hair. "That your mother should really consider a career in matchmaking." "God help us all." Maya laughed, then grew serious. "Actually, I was thinking about how easy it would have been to say no that night. To mind my own business and let your life play out however it was going to. I almost did." "What changed your mind?" "Your mother's eyes. The way she looked at you. Like you were precious to her, worth fighting for. Even if it meant asking a stranger for help." Maya turned to face him. "That kind of love, it deserves to be answered. Even by strangers." "Especially by strangers," Richard corrected softly. "Because strangers who show kindness when they have nothing to gain, those are the people who change the world. One moment at a time, outside the city glowed against the darkness, millions of lives intersecting and diverging, each person fighting their own battles, making their own choices. And somewhere out there, Maya knew, other people were facing their own moments of decision, chances to walk away or step forward, to choose comfort or compassion. She hoped they'd choose kindness. She hoped they'd take the risk. Because you never knew when a single evening, a single yes, a single act of unlikely grace might change everything. "Thank you," she whispered, though she wasn't sure if she was talking to Richard or his mother or the universe itself. "For what?" "For seeing me. For trusting a stranger. For letting your mother's crazy plan work exactly as well as it did." Richard kissed her softly. "Best fake engagement I've ever had." "Your only fake engagement." "That too." And as the rain fell and the city sparkled and their future stretched out before them, full of promise and possibility, Maya thought about that terrified young woman, nursing a glass of water in an expensive restaurant, certain she was always going to be alone. She'd been wrong. Sometimes all it took was one moment of bravery, one decision to help when help was needed, one willingness to step into someone else's chaos and try to make it better. Sometimes that was enough to change everything. Sometimes strangers became family. And sometimes, just sometimes, fake engagements became real love stories with the happiest of endings. Catherine still insisted she'd planned it all along. Maybe in some cosmic way she had. Either way, Maya was grateful. For desperate mothers and interrupted dinners. For the courage to say yes when saying no would have been easier. For the reminder that kindness was never wasted, even when, especially when, it was given to strangers. That was the greatest gift of all. Not the career or the ring or the man who'd become her whole heart, but the knowledge that compassion mattered, that showing up mattered, that one person's decision to care could ripple outward in ways they'd never imagine, and that love in all its forms was always worth the risk. Always.